Alright, I just turned on my camera. My battery is almost 10, so hopefully I can get this intro done before it dies. So, hi, here we are again with this weird intro. This time, I don't know, it was planned again, or unplanned, whatever. So as you could probably tell from the title of my video and my thumbnail, yeah, my basement flooded. So, hi! In today's video, I'm going to bring you along with me as I tell you this tale of how I flooded our fully furnished basement. Of course, not on purpose. It was a total accident, but that doesn't mean it didn't crush me any less. This tale starts on May 6th, and even though we have made a huge dent, it will take probably many more days, maybe even weeks, to get our basement back to 100%. So pop my video on your TV, tablet, or phone, grab a snack and your favorite drink, and join me in telling my tale. And while this is not my usual content, and we will get back to cleaning very, very, very soon, but you guys know that I am truly passionate about sharing real life with you, and it wouldn't be me if I didn't share this portion of my life. So, while this isn't my usual content, don't forget to like my video, leave me a comment below, subscribe to my channel, so that here in the near future, when I get back to regular inspiration and motivational cleaning videos, you won't miss another one. And let's be friends on Instagram too. You can find me at Home with Elizabeth. All right, friends, let's get this tale started. And right there, friends, is the culprit. My hose from my washer came out of my sink. And what you're gonna see is the aftermath. So yes, friends, on the mild-mannered afternoon of May 6th, I was happily filming my after company clean for you guys and working on my laundry. And of course, you guys know I'd had my company over, my daughter and her roommate. My oldest son was home from college, you know, we're celebrating her graduation. And so I had lots of laundry left over, and on my last load of laundry, somehow my hose that drains my washer came out of my slop sink and spilled anywhere from 20 to 30 gallons of water in my basement, and it all went under our beautiful laminate flooring. And I gave you that little clip there of me walking down the hallway between my youngest son's room and my oldest son's room, and you could hear it slosh like I was running through puddles. So, I was of course devastated. I literally broke down and just was devastated. And a little backstory about that is because the last two houses we lived in before this one both had flooding problems in their basement with rain and the whatnot. So of course, when we found this house and found out that it was so dry, we were so amazingly happy. So of course, when I flooded it, it brought back a little PTSD, and I don't use that lightly. Like, I had a panic attack, friends. That's how devastated I was. That rest of the day, we just kind of, we were shell-shocked. We didn't know what to do. So a couple hours after it happened, my husband called a restoration place in town here, and they came out the morning of the 7th, and they spent several hours going over it, measuring, taking readings, and unfortunately, they wanted to charge us about $7,000. And like, we didn't trust them. Like, they were saying that the water was under the entire floor, which we knew it wasn't. We knew the exact amount of water that had come out of my washer. So we decided that we were going to do it ourselves. So that afternoon, we went and bought several floor fans. We went to a rental place we have in town here and rented a industrial strength dehumidifier. And that night, we started tearing up our floor. Now, of course, friends, normal life was still going on this whole time. Like, I still had chorus concerts for my children, lacrosse games for my youngest son. My oldest son it was his finals weeks. He was coming home on Friday, like, for the summer. So, the night of the 7th, while I was at a lacrosse game with my youngest son, my husband tore up the basement floor. He started right beside our storage unit there, like our storage room, and he took up boards until he didn't see water. And then we turned on both dehumidifiers we own, the industrial dehumidifier. We turned on all of our regular box fans. We turned on the 2 big floor fans that we bought, and we ran them constantly for about 36 hours. Like, my husband was setting a timer even through the night to change them, like rotate them every like 2 to 3 hours. And thankfully, by the night of the 8th, everything was dry. As you saw my pictures, like, he had laid out all the boards. Another thing that saved us is that because we bought the waterproof flooring that already had the padding, they did not have to put padding underneath this. So we saved so much money there. It also saved our flooring because it didn't have like the cloth underneath it. It would be like soaking it and causing, making it stay wet. So there were many, many blessings in this, friends, even among the chaos and the heartbreak. So like I said, as you saw, we had all the boards drying. We actually only lost maybe about 2 boxes worth of flooring. And that's only because some of them were stuck together so well that my husband accidentally broke them when he was like taking up the floor. So on the morning of the 9th, we started at about 10 o'clock in the morning, and we just started laying floor. Me, my husband, my youngest son, and my middle son, as you'll see throughout this video. And you'll see that there's there's very targeted damage on the walls from where my husband took off the baseboards. And again, it was a mistake. I told him he should have been using a razor blade, but again, we were just so frustrated, so heartbroken, so just really not even thinking straight that he just started taking baseboards off. So yes, a lot of that damage could have been probably, if not like avoided completely, at least it could have been lessened. But that's okay. Like, we already have a plan of what we're going to do, so that's okay. So we're laying boards, we're taking nails out of the drywall, like where the baseboards were, and we're just laying. Like, I'm working on the hall. As you saw, my husband was in our oldest son's room working in his closet. My middle son here is working in the laundry area, and we just worked as a team, friends, just putting it together, discussing, does this go here, does this go there? Pretty soon here, me and my youngest son are going to be in his room, and we were working on getting his floor done. It was definitely a team effort. Yeah. So, but it did take us probably till about 11 o'clock on May 9th to get the floor finished. And so towards the end of this video, you're going to see that the next day, which was Saturday the 10th, I did clean up. We got all the fans out, got the industrial dehumidifier out. I got all the tools in one place, sorted through my laundry that had been accumulating down there, because like I couldn't do laundry after Tuesday. Like I couldn't do Wednesday's laundry. I couldn't do Thursday's laundry. I couldn't do Friday laundry. And so I don't know, friends, if you've seen one of my videos before, that's about 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 8 loads of laundry that we're behind on. So it was not fun, friends. So you're gonna see that I sweep, I mop, and I don't film at all, friends. I was downstairs for probably about 4 hours cleaning, just trying to get back to normal. You know, we weren't able to bring the dogs down for all those days. Like we were having to take them inside and outside upstairs. So I needed to get it to where the dogs would be able to come downstairs without getting something in their mouth, without getting hurt. And also so that everyone else could be coming up and downstairs so that they could, you know, not hurt themselves, not break something more, not only like on themselves but like, you know, we have baseboards laying around everywhere. I am happy to say, friends, that probably not immediately after it happened. It was probably many hours after it happened, and I thought there has to be something better. That I did get on and start searching for something made for actually a hose that goes into the sink like that, or even, you know, something more substantial to hold my hose in my slop sink than a covered piece of wire. I'm happy to report that I found this contraption on Amazon, ordered it right away, and it did come Sunday, the day I'm doing this voiceover, and we got it all hooked up, and it's at least giving me a little bit of peace of mind. I probably will not, it'll be a while before I can leave a load of laundry unattended in the washing machine, but that's mostly myself and my anxieties. As I said, friends, it could have been much worse. This could have been outside water, which meant we would have had to discard the floor. It could have been an unlimited, it could have been 200 gallons of water, friends, which meant it would have got to all corners of the basement. It would have got in the drywall, and it would have leached up into the drywall, which means we would have had to cut drywall. It could have been so much worse, friends. So much worse. And I kept telling myself that. Of course, after the initial meltdown and hyperventilations and panic attacks, I did keep telling myself that Elizabeth, it could have been worse. It could have been a situation where we weren't able to do this ourselves, and we would have had to spend that money to have someone else do it. We could have been in the situation where we weren't able to do it ourselves. We would have had to pay someone else to do it, and we wouldn't have the money to do it. It just could have been so much worse. So yes, although I was devastated and upset and hurt, I kept looking on the bright side.
Way ahead of where we are, out in Dipshit Island.
I'm also happy to report that nothing in either of the boys' rooms that I just did for their rooms was messed up at all. Nothing. It was, like I said, just in my oldest son's closet, the flooring had to come up, and there's a little bit of damage with the drywall. And then here in my youngest son's room, this wall that runs along the hallway. But I've already went to Lowe's. I have the paint picked out because I'm now going to have to paint all these white walls, because I can't just patch, because it's just like the builder's grade primer stuff that's on the walls. So friends, over the next, who knows how long, it could be a month, it could be the next 2 months, I will be probably throwing little snippets here and there into my regular videos of me repairing all this stuff and patching it. I don't want to save it for one video because that's not the type of content I have. So if in a day I patch a wall and paint it, I'm going to throw it in that video for you friends. Try this. Not really. You just, if try one thing and it doesn't work, you try another thing. Mommy. What? There's not a lot of extra pieces. Is this like those Lego sets?
Yes.
All right, there's about a minute and a half left. I'm going to show you all the floor. But I also want to throw out there, friends, as you just heard my son and I talking, this was a good lesson for our boys too. That when you work hard to get stuff, that you're going to work hard to repair it if something happens to it. And also, if one way doesn't work, try another way. You know, try again. So friends, this is the night of the 9th. Like I said, it's about 11 o'clock, 11:30, and I'm just showing you how the floor has come back together. And of course, the one little spot that my husband feels horrible about, and I told him, babe, literally, that's the only spot. So yeah. I'm just gonna let you guys watch this. Here I am the next day cleaning. I just want to let you know that Thursday we'll be back to our regularly scheduled program. I will have a video with some cleaning in it, and also the review of this Fighty vacuum that I have bought almost a month ago, friends, and I've been promising you the review of it. It is coming on Thursday. It was actually supposed to come out today, this Monday, but then this whole thing happened, so we're just rolling with life, friends. But yes, Thursday we will be back to our regularly scheduled program with cleaning motivation, cleaning inspiration, and a review of that vacuum. But friends, I want to thank you if you've made it this far. I really appreciate it. Thank you for joining me in this thing I called life. I didn't even get to introduce myself in here, did I? But that's okay, friends. This is not what I want to be known for. I do not want to be known as the girl with the flooded basement. But just thank you for being here, friends. Thank you for joining me in this ride of life and coming along with me and living my ups and downs. And I just want to keep you guys inspired to, yeah, there's going to be ups and downs, friends. And sometimes you're going to have a flooded basement and sometimes you're not. But guys, we're going to get through it. We're going to make the best of it, and we will come out on top. And that's all I want to say, friends. So I will see you in the next video on Thursday. And until then, have a great day. Bye.